So here's the story. It's 2010-ish, I think. It's an expired listing. For context, in Memphis, the average price point in Memphis at that time was around 130, and 130 average price point in the city. So for me to get a listing appointment set for a $500,000 house was a big deal. Well, they had to sell. They were getting divorced. I didn't know that at the time, but they were childless. This will play into the story. So it was Saturday. I had made the appointment. Let's just say the appointment was at 11 o'clock, and my mom was supposed to watch Peyton so I could go to this listing appointment. It was on Braden, which was in Fayette County, which is right down the street from her. She lived in Eads. She still does. Well, she just became not available that morning, and I was like, oh, fantastic. And for any of you that know that are brand new, the prospect of the idea of a $15,000 commission check in 2010 was probably the equivalent of like a $30,000 commission check today. I was paying, just for context, I was paying $1,000 a month in rent. My car payment was $500. Sorry, it's so shaky. When I moved to Memphis, I had $10,000 to my name. I got that $10,000 by selling everything I owned on eBay as an eBay seller while being a stay-at-home mom. And I would go to thrift stores and garage sales and purchase things at a discount to then resell on eBay. So I've always been entrepreneurially minded, if that's even a word. So I wasn't going to let this opportunity pass me by. So I did what any single mom does, and by the way, this was coming into fall. I feel like it was around this time, by the way. So I knew that if I could get this listing, I would do whatever I could to sell it. But I had only sold maybe 50 houses in my life at that point. So I decided to take her with me. She's 3 years old, and I don't ask before the listing appointment. I get there with my daughter. And it's like, if in telling the story, I might cry, because this is the like feeling of like I don't want to say desperate, but like determined, obsessed, determined mother to provide for her kid. And I haven't told this story like this, so I might cry, which is fine. I have friends. You guys are my friends. So I get to the door, and I said, anyway, trust it. Trust your gut when you're in a listing appointment and someone says to you, how many listings do you have? How many have you sold? And in my life, I think I get that question maybe once a year. Now, mind you, I probably go on 150 listing appointments a year. I don't know. I should keep track of it, but I don't. I mean, I could if I wanted to. Anyway, let's just say it's 150. I might get that question asked 2 or 3 times. No. But it was the single biggest fear when I was a new agent was, oh my gosh, what if they ask me, I don't have the confidence, like what? Don't worry about it. Do it anyway. If you watched my video from yesterday when I was in the airport and David Goggins said to Jesse Itzner, do it anyway. Do it. Do it again. Do it. Do it. Just do it. That's my advice to you. Just do it. Do it anyway. Do it when you're scared. Luckily, this house I'm going to is vacant. And I've just been thinking about how scared I was when I first started. And that fear of not being able to provide a life for my kid was such motivation. Like no one was going to let me fail. No one. Because I knew that every 52 conversations would lead to a closing. And I could control if I made calls to have conversations or if I didn't. And I could control whether I was passive and letting the business come to me, which it didn't when I was brand new, or if I was going to be aggressive and seeking. And you know what helped me with my confidence? The number one thing? Scripts. That's it. And you know how I got scripts? I was in the room with some of the greatest real estate professionals, in my opinion, in the entire world. And I put myself in those rooms. And I was the quietest person in those rooms until I began to digest what they were saying and what was happening. And then I had confidence to ask questions first. Confidence to ask questions. And then I would practice. And I'd practice in a car like this. I would practice in my car, to and from. Practice how I would say it. If I were to hear this, would it be believable? Practice. Anyway, thanks for being along with me on this morning commute. And I hope, let me know if this is inspiring you, because I feel like TikTok, there's current agents great on here too, but I feel like from a lot of the comments, they're the newer agents, and so I have such a passion for new agents, because obviously I was one, and I'm Jenny from the block, so I'm not going to remember that I never was, so I hope to never be without humility in this business, because I hope to never have an ego about this business, because I think it's silly to have an ego in real estate. Anyway, I'm so happy to walk alongside you and pour into you, even if you're not in my city or state, because I just have such a passion for it. And I feel like if this is your passion, if passion is real estate, don't quit. And remember that our brain tells us to quit at 40% of our true capacity. So when you've done your calls for the day and you did not get results, make one more phone call. Or have a deal with yourself that you're not going to leave the office until you have 52 conversations, or you're not going to leave the office until you have 5 conversations. If you had 5 conversations every day for a week, you should have a closing a month, as those conversations are nurtured and followed up with properly using a great CRM, or, join a team, because team to me stands for together, everyone achieves more. And if you're in Memphis, I'd certainly love to talk to you. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll check with you guys later.